Oh, good afternoon, Mrs. Pfeiffer.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hernan.
Oh, how's it going?
Pretty good. How's your day?
Oh, busy as usual. Doctor's appointment today for Shay?
Yes, it went really well.
Good, good. Well, yesterday I watched whole group reading, and you asked me, we'll start with you asked me to track movement, and I did for the first part while we were reading. I made my own. This one got left. I forgot it in here. But so I tracked you. I started there, and you had good movement throughout the room. And then once you started doing the lesson, it was kind of back and forth here. I kind of stopped, but that you were using the board in the front. So. And then I also took the liberty of, when I got back, all the people that had a chance to share out, and I thought it looked to me like you did an excellent job of
and I was
spreading it out.
Really kind of excited that these two volunteered because they're two of the lower readers and they don't participate a whole lot in class. So one of them got called on 3 times, like in comparison to some of the other kids, but it was because I wanted to encourage that.
Yep.
So
no, and everybody wanted, was raising their hand trying to get involved. So I thought that was really nice. Let's see, just open up, what part of the lesson were you most pleased with?
Well, like looking at this and like I mentioned, those students that don't usually participate, like them getting involved, I think the fact that we've done it several days in a row, they are starting to catch on and feel more comfortable with that. And then kind of based on what we did yesterday, we did that again today and they did it independently, and I saw a lot of students referring back to the text, so I think we're getting that, the importance of referring back.
Any parts that you kind of weren't pleased with, wish would have gone better maybe?
I struggle with like when what types of the questions do you go back and look in the text for, and which ones are okay to kind of be like, oh well, you don't. I think maybe it was question 3, what were both of these texts about, or what do they have in common, or something, I think was the question. And that's more of just like a big overall general, like, think about what that one was about, think about what the second one was about. And then the kids probably wanted to go back and find something specific when that's more of just a general.
That one confused me, I won't lie. I was reading that, I was like,
yeah, and it could have gone a couple of different ways.
Which one that is.
Yeah.
But, so engagement, we talked about engagement was good. Everybody, I saw lots of people raising hands. Do you think you achieved the goals of the lesson throughout?
I think I did, based on what I saw today with those students applying what we've been working on. In the future, I would maybe like to do this style of lesson at the beginning of the year and use that as more of like a foundation to build on.
Okay. So, do you feel that your use of technology helped to enhance the lesson?
I think it gives, like, this friend right here chose to follow along on the board instead of on the paper. And so I think sometimes giving that option, and then also if I'm answering up on the board, makes them focus like, oh, Mrs. Tucker is filling in choice A, or including the highlighting rather than just saying, okay, you highlight on your own.
Yeah, it's a little differentiation for different learners. Good. So you teach it this way. Is there another technique that you have thought about teaching the same strategies with, or? Not
this year, and this is really my first year trying the paired passages after looking over our PARCC result data from last year. I noticed that was really something our kids struggled with. I talked with my co-teacher and we talked like that's not really something we do a whole lot of, and so we tried to incorporate it in more. And then just our class as a whole kind of struggles with comprehension. Like, I think they feel like you either get it or you don't. And, we talked like there's more to it. Yeah.
Do you think that's just this year's group, or is that just kind of that age in general?
I think some of it is the age. Like, you're reading, in 4th grade, you're reading more for, you're reading content and trying to understand things. And some of the kids just really struggle, and they struggle in whole group reading, they struggle in science and social studies, and so trying to figure out ways to get them to apply what they know.
Okay. So you said you've enjoyed this first year you've done it, and you enjoyed it. You teach it again in the future.
I would, like I said earlier, I think I would change the placement of it, like in the year. I think I think this would be a good beginning of the year, first quarter kind of thing.
Yeah, to work on it. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Anything like within the lesson, anything you not necessarily change in time, but anything you'd leave out? Like, do you think there was were all those questions necessary, or would you maybe just hit
There's
on
probably
a
some
couple
questions
of
we could remove.
Okay.
I did like the one where it had the teeth and then like the bites, like that inferencing we've been working on, and I thought that was good for the kids to be able to apply that.
And that was, I wrote that down, that you discussed the one discussion that I thought was very good. You discussed the difference between the suspect and the victim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the vocabulary, they might not know the difference between the two, and then you told the story about narrowing down the suspect, so you were able to put it in real life instead of just a story.
And I think that's one of those things I take for granted, that the kids would know the difference between a suspect and a victim. Mm-hmm. That was not something I had anticipated being.
Were there any surprises in the lesson?
I feel like the lack of understanding, like the lack of knowledge on the vocabulary, but overall, no other big surprises.
Okay. Yeah, and then as far as anything I wrote down, we had the little issue at the beginning, but quickly put that to rest, and everybody seemed okay and moved on, and I saw lots of hands, and then as the questions went, fewer and fewer kids were kind of raising their hand. I don't know, trouble keeping up, or I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think do you think there's a reason fewer hands?
I don't know if as the questions go on, they get it's not that they get super challenging, but like the difficulty increases slightly, and so maybe they don't feel as confident or knowing like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back and tell where I found that versus like maybe I just knew that.
Good. Well, thanks for letting me come watch. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
The students, I told them, Mr. Vernon's gonna come in and see how we do things in here, so they were excited.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.